Okay, so it sounds like we're talking about iManage migrations today.
We are indeed a perennial challenge in the world of data management.
And it seems like iSyncKit by MacroAgility is the tool of the day.
That's right, we're diving into their data sheet, seeing if it lives up to the hype.
Wrangling those files into iManage, it's kind of like herding cats, am I right?
You're not wrong. And everyone hopes for a smoother experience.
Speaking of smoother, this Universal API certification caught my eye.
Ah, yes. That's a good sign right off the bat.
More than just a fancy badge, what does it mean for someone actually using the software?
It's iManage giving their official thumbs up, essentially.
So it's going to work seamlessly with any iManage setup.
That's the idea. On-premises work, cloud iManage, you name it.
That's reassuring to hear. Nobody wants to discover their migration tool is outdated halfway through.
Exactly. You want that peace of mind knowing your tools are up to date.
But let's talk about control now, because who wants to migrate everything?
Ah, yes, the dreaded data dump. You want to be selective.
And it sounds like iSyncKit has some serious filtering chops.
They do. They talk about both extension filtering and folder filtering.
So you can get very specific with what gets moved over.
Absolutely. Say you only want those docs files from a certain project folder.
And leave those ancient PDFs behind.
Precisely. iSyncKit should allow for that level of granularity.
Music to my ears. But okay, the files are moved, now what? What about metadata?
Ah, yes. The unsung hero of data management.
Nobody wants to spend hours manually tagging documents in iManage.
You're telling me that's a special kind of torture.
And this is where iSyncKit gets really interesting.
They do have this profile extraction feature.
Profile extraction sounds intense. What's that all about?
It can actually pull iManage metadata directly from your existing file paths.
Wait, so it's smart enough to find hidden information in the folder structure?
Exactly. Like those breadcrumbs you leave in a forest.
Okay, so walk me through this. How does it actually work?
Imagine your folder path has the client name, project name, document type.
All separated by those lovely backslashes.
Exactly. iSyncKit can recognize those patterns, extract them as metadata.
And what if my file paths are a mess? No consistent naming scheme.
Don't worry. You can manually define metadata profiles too.
Oh, okay. So you have options.
Exactly. And they even mention inheriting metadata from parent folders.
That could save a ton of time, for sure.
Huge time saver.
Potentially.
Okay, this is giving me some serious hope for data migration.
It's like iSyncKit understands that our time is precious.
Speaking of time, let's say you've migrated everything, and then bam, new files appear.
Oh, the joys of a dynamic data environment. It never sleeps.
Do you have to start the whole migration process over again?
That's where the run deltas feature comes in.
Run deltas sounds like some kind of advanced mathematical operation.
It's simpler than it sounds. Basically, it's like a scheduled refresh.
So it checks for new or changed files and just adds them to iManage. Precisely. No more manual uploads or starting from scratch.
Okay, that's what I call efficiency. But migrations can be unpredictable, right?
You're not wrong. Even the best laid plans can go awry.
So what happens if something goes wrong? Is there a safety net?
They do highlight their rollback feature.
Rollback, like hitting the undo button on a disastrous typo.
Exactly. You can essentially delete everything that was migrated.
And then fix the issue and run the migration again?
Precisely. It's like a giant reset button for your data.
Okay, that's incredibly reassuring. But what if things go really wrong? Like I'm talking head-scratching what just happened kind of wrong.
Ah, in those moments of bewilderment, you need good logs.
They do emphasize detailed logs in the datasheet.
And not just any logs, you can actually query them using metadata.
Wait, seriously? So I can see all the actions related to a specific client, for example?
Exactly. No more endlessly scrolling through lines of code.
Okay, that's impressive. So we've talked about iSyncKit being simple and easy to use.
The million-dollar question is whether those claims hold up in the real world.
Right, because simple is subjective. What's easy for one person might be a nightmare for another.
Exactly. So while we're unpacking these features, it's crucial to look beyond the marketing.
If you're listening and you're intrigued by iSyncKit, don't just take our word for it.
Absolutely. See if you can find independent reviews, maybe even some case studies.
Real-world feedback is invaluable.
It really is. Because what works in a controlled demo might fall apart in a real-world scenario with your data.
And speaking of real-world scenarios, let's talk about security.
Ah, yes. A critical aspect.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about sensitive information.
You can't just gloss over security during a migration.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It should be a top priority.
Did you notice how the datasheet addresses that?
They do mention flexible security as a key benefit, and it should be don't be shy about reaching out to MacroAgility directly.
Absolutely. Ask about certifications, encryption, data handling practices.
The whole 9 yards. You're entrusting them with your data after all.
Peace of mind is priceless.
Couldn't agree more.
You know, something I always underestimate is the importance of the user interface.
Yes, a clunky interface can really make or break the user experience.
It's true. And when you're talking about something as potentially complex as a data migration.
You want a smooth and intuitive process.
And speaking of being prepared, did you notice anything about disaster recovery?
That's a critical question that often gets overlooked in the excitement of new technology.
What happens if something goes catastrophically wrong during the migration?
Right, because those smaller features like rollback and detailed logs are great for quick fixes.
But for a major data disaster, you need a more comprehensive plan.
Exactly. Things like automated backups, data redundancy. It's not just about undoing a migration. It's about ensuring you can recover quickly and completely.
Absolutely. And if you're dealing with a large volume of data, especially sensitive information,
Disaster recovery is non-negotiable.
so don't be afraid to ask MacroAgility about their specific protocols.
Get those details nailed down.
Okay, so we've covered the technical features, but what about the company itself?
Yes, the human element is crucial.
The datasheet mentions MacroAgility has years of experience with iManage solutions.
That's definitely a point in their favor. It suggests they understand the platform inside and out.
And that experience can be invaluable when it comes to data migration.
Absolutely, because iManage can be a complex beast.
But experience aside, I'm also curious about their approach to customer support.
Yes, because even with the best software in the world, you're bound to run into a snag or two.
Migrations can get tricky, and having a reliable support team in your corner can be a lifesaver.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, we've thoroughly dissected iSyncKit's features, weighed its potential benefits, and highlighted some crucial areas you'll want to investigate further.
It's been quite the exploration.
But there's one final overarching question that will ultimately determine if iSyncKit is the right fit for you.
The million-dollar question, right? Does it actually work with your data?
Exactly. Because it's one thing to have all these bells and whistles.
But it's all for nothing if the software can't understand your specific data environment.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
A perfect analogy. It might look good on paper, but in reality,
It's just not going to work.
precisely. And that's why real-world testing is so crucial.
You need to see how iSyncKit handles your files, your folder structures, your metadata.
All those quirks that make your data unique.
So if you're listening and you're serious about iSyncKit,
Don't just take our word for it, or their marketing materials.
reach out to MacroAgility, request a personalized demo.
And this is key ask to connect with some of their existing clients.
People who have gone through similar migrations.
Exactly. Hearing those firsthand experiences, both good and bad.
That's how you get a real feel for what it's like to actually work with the software.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about moving data from point A to point B.
It's about finding a solution that truly fits your needs
A solution that empowers your team and streamlines your workflows.
and keeps your data safe and sound.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It really is all about finding the right fit, isn't it?
Absolutely. And finding that fit requires due diligence.
We always say knowledge is power, right?
100%. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to make a good decision.
So to wrap up our deep dive into iSyncKit,
It's been quite the journey.
we hope this exploration has given you a solid starting point.
A foundation for evaluating whether iSyncKit aligns with your specific migration needs.
And remember, don't just rely on what you've heard here.
Do your own research. Talk to the experts.
Reach out to MacroAgility, request a demo, connect with existing clients.
Get those real-world insights.
Because at the end of the day, it's your data, your migration, your decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we hope we've empowered you to make an informed one.
That's all we can ask for. Until next time.
Happy migrating.